Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And we went to see another action movie this time.
Oh,
again.
yes.
This time we saw A Good Day to Die Hard.
Die Hard!
AKA Die Hard 5.
Yay!
Which came out on Valentine's Day. So
And we actually saw it on Valentine's. Well, Kat and I saw it on Valentine's Day.
You don't need
so
any.
romantic.
You don't need any of that lovey-dovey crap. Because Valentine's Day this year was a good day to die hard.
You could say it was a St. Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah!
Whoa.
That was bad. But, you know what's funny? Because I think we pretty much all went to go see this movie just because of you, because you're the big Die Hard fan.
Yeah, basically, the condition was for these three is, I'll go see it, but under the one condition that you all have to see the first four.
And that's what we did.
And it was marathon sessions the last week and a half.
Oh, yes.
And everyone saw all four. It's like, okay, you guys are caught up. You now can truly understand the Die Hard culture. Now, the Die Hard series is my favorite movie series, personally, and I've been a big fan of it for many years. And, this series, just to give you a quick backstory, is the first Die Hard really revolutionized all action movies from there on out. Because everything after that point became sort of Die Hard on a whatever. So like this movie Speed became Die Hard on a bus. Or you had movies Die Hard on a train. Or, dare I even say it, Snakes on a Plane was Die Hard on a plane with snakes.
And Samuel Jackson was in it.
Yes.
Basically what it did was it just went from the, back in the 80s, the bodybuilder carrying the machine gun, going around just going, oh, to more the everyman, gritty, attitude, just coming and saying, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then just comes in and just kicks everybody's ass.
Yeah.
And in most cases, it's like they don't want to be there, but they just sort of, by some sort of coincidence, they're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and pretty much too, with Die Hard is Bruce, as Eric had said, is the whole fact of he's not so much the bodybuilder type. Bruce Willis in the first Die Hard movie, John McClane is like, he's in the shape that a cop should be in, and he looks like a real person. Not a steroid-infested person, and, he gets hurt more easily. It's not like, barely a scratch on him. He's nearly dead at the end of, mainly all of them, but especially the first one. he gets shot in the arm. He's walking on glass. He has no shoes on. And it's like, he is really messed up. Mm-hmm. And that really was revolutionary because action movies from there on out, the hero was pretty messed up toward the end of the movie, if not some of them dead. So it really sort of changed the course of action movies, at least before the CGI.
CGI stuff.
The CGI stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, but
that's the backstory.
That's pretty much the general.
Now on to the main show.
And on to the main stuff, which was A Good Day to Die Hard, Die Hard 5. And this time around, John McClane is in Russia, and the reason why he's in Russia is because he's trying to find his son, because apparently his son
got arrested.
He got arrested. He got busted in Moscow, and he has to see what the heck is going on with him. And so he gets there, and he finds out that his son is actually a CIA operative, and that he's doing an undercover. And he was undercover, and he was trying to bust this guy who's trying to steal
Uranium?
It was uranium, but they were trying to find a file.
Yeah.
But
don't understand it? Don't worry. It just gets more complicated.
Yeah, basically he's trying to rescue a guy who was a political prisoner because he was apparently responsible for Chernobyl.
Yes.
Yeah, him and this other politician, and the politician ended up ratting him out and sent him to jail, and then now all of a sudden the guy has evidence that the other guy was involved, so now the whole thing is trying to get this guy safely to testify to safely go out of Moscow without getting killed. And Yeah.
And then chaos ensues, and I don't know if we give away the ending or not, but long story short, the movie in general, you could definitely tell it's a Die Hard movie.
That's for sure.
It's
Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
I mean, granted,
After a certain point, it becomes fully Die Hard.
It's a new age Die Hard movie where, like, the first three Die Hards, took place in 88, I think it was like 94.
90 and 95.
About 95, 96, somewhere around that time frame. So that was like the pre-CGI, more of, all the stunts are real, everything, more realness to it.
Lots of big explosions.
Yeah, the fourth one was CGI and a little bit out there. The fifth one was even more modern, but you could still tell, okay, it's sort of Die Hard, but in a new age. As for the actual plot,
Good luck with that.
me personally, I felt it was more of not so much John McClane, but more of his son. It was more of his son's story, and John McClane was just wrong place, wrong time, and he got thrown into what his son was doing.
But I think the fact that they still kept the theme of pretty much every Die Hard movie, the wrong place at the wrong time, and that kind of fit beautifully here because he just happens to be stumbling across, his son's undercover case, and he's just in the strew of things. But the movie does seem to have a little bit more focused attention on the son, and not so much. John McClane is still going to be John McClane. He's still going to go in. He's still going to be badass. But but it didn't feel like he was necessarily the main focus of it. I mean, it was kind of.
It felt like it kept switching focuses. Like sometimes it was Jack, his son. Sometimes it was John. Sometimes it was both of them. So it doesn't really quite know who it's trying to stick to. But it's between John and Jack a lot of the time.
Yeah, which is interesting with the Die Hard movies because that's the thing. As a series, it's like you see this movie individually. If you don't see the previous movies, okay, whatever. It's not.
It's not absolutely necessary
Yeah.
to see them, but it does. It helps sometimes.
Yeah, but with taking into account the series as a whole. It's interesting because it's like, okay, I mean, his wife and children are prominent in all of them. Even in the third one, he tries to talk to his wife on the phone, and it's him being separated from his wife. And in the fourth and fifth one, I mean, the first one we met his children very briefly, but they were children. The fourth and fifth one's like, okay, here are his children grown up, and here's how he reacts as a father to adult children.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it very interesting. Okay, so you're almost sort of following sort of John McClane's life over the past 25 years.
Pretty much.
And then Kat had a few observations about at least the first 4 Die Hard movies, and see if it stuck to the 5th one as well.
Yeah, because up until the last week, the week before, I hadn't seen any of the Die Hard movies. Yeah, I know, I should be punished.
You won't be now.
I'd only seen the 4th one up until recently, so.
But so I ended up marathoning it, sort of like one movie per day, and of course I noticed the constant present themes that were in each of the movies. Like, not all of them, but, pretty much basically was there. So, and I even made, like, a list of them. So, I made that, and then I was keeping that in mind while I was watching the movie. I'm thinking, okay, John McClane goes into a situation where, accidentally and against his will. Okay, over-the-top bad guy death. Okay, John McClane makes an impossible escape that should have resulted in his death. Okay, glass is shattered. Helicopter's blown up. Okay, good. We got all the elements here.
Exactly.
Him working with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
That was reluctant at first.
Mm-hmm.
There was also, and I pointed this out when it happened, but in every movie, I believe, Bruce Willis bleeds out of the right side of his face. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Well,
Or
that's
his head. Yeah.
that's an interesting thing. Actually, in real life, you see Bruce Willis very cut up, especially in the third one where he's almost looks like he has a separated shoulder. He has a scar on his shoulder from when he was a kid that he got, so they sort of always make that bleed a little bit to say, oh, that's an actual injury. But I digress. One of the most interesting common themes of this movie series is there's a big twist that comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
I mean, the first one, assuming you've all seen this, if not, then mute it. But anyways, the first one is like, oh, they're actually after the money. They're not the terrorists.
They're not just going after the
Exactly.
people. They're just.
Yeah. The second one is, oh, those military commandos are actually working for the bad guys.
Yes.
The third one, you find out, oh, they were stealing the money from the Federal Reserve. Well, actually,
they didn't really want revenge.
They didn't really want revenge. They want to get rich. But even more so in the first one, it's like a secondary one's like, oh, this main bad guy that's toying with the hero so happens to be the brother from the first one.
Yes.
Fourth one, no,
That was kind of tacked on.
that was tacked on. It's like, okay, they're more going for the money. Fifth one.
This one actually. had a good
We're
twist.
just gonna say it because we assume that you've seen the movie. Fifth one is like, yeah, the guy they were trying to save turned out to be the bad guy wanting to smuggle the uranium out.
That was actually a pretty good twist. I will have to admit.
I having seen all Die Hard movies, in the back of my mind knowing, okay, there's gonna be one, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the politician that ended up being the bad guy.
And it turned out
He-
just to be opposite.
Yeah, if anything, the guy was more of a red herring.
Yeah.
Although I will say I predicted something close to what was going to happen. I predicted that the daughter was actually going to be working for her father and the daughter was going to be sided with her father all along. So I was sort of right, but not in the way I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, two final things, unless if any of you have anything else to add, I'd say is, having known about the Die Hard series, and, I waited for Die Hard 4 to come out for a long time. The problem is Die Hard 3 came out mid to late 90s, and they wanted to make a fourth one, but it got delayed because of 9/11, so it got delayed until, I think it was
2007,
2007.
Yeah.
And then Die Hard 5 comes out. I'm getting excited. Bruce Willis has said he'd be very interested in making a sixth one, that maybe being the final part of the series. Now, with the sixth one, 3 out of 4 of us could get excited about it, because sort of having an idea of rumors on the internet of having a Die Hard 24 crossover.
Yes. You've been saying this for a while. Have Jack Bauer teaming up with John McClane. It would be awesome.
Yeah, because really, very similar type of characters.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Who's to say? I mean, they're
24
both
hours
both
to Die
owned-
Hard.
Yeah, they're both owned by Fox, so this could technically happen.
Oh yeah. So
Um,
the only oh yeah something else.
I think this one wins for most over the top death of a villain. Because oh my god, you think at first it's a callback to the first movie with Hans Gruber getting pushed out of the building,
And I like that. It was almost like a homage, almost.
Yeah.
Because
And then-
like father, like son, he throws him off the building, and even the exact shot of just like the expression just.
and then it just like you see it coming, but you're still like. Like, he falls right into the propeller of the helicopter as it's like twisting and turning to regain balance.
Mm-hmm.
Those helicopters, man.
Yeah, really.
Every goddamn movie, there's a helicopter and it causes some sort of colossal damage.
Yeah.
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
remember the helicopter in the second movie. I remember him in every
Well, in
other
that case,
movie.
it was a plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Playing in that case.
close enough. But well, it sounds like we're just about done. So I only have one other thing else to add.
1, 2, 3, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
See you later.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.